she come back to that story to tell me how soft I am because I'm touching a man. My missus saying I'm tickling the man. He said,
what's happening, people? Welcome to Added Value Podcast, the biggest show on the net. I'm Jason, the self-titled superstar. Jay.
I'm J. Rome, the slum lord. We got my tenants, but big up my tenants on the real this time. One called me, they're leaving in June. So big him up, Adrian. He's been my tenant for 8 years. So yeah, big him up for real.
Hey, how much money you get from it? 2 million. Yeah, man, big up C's in the back. Welcome to the positivity area, the upliftment corner, the spot where you get the good vibes every time. What we doing today? We're talking about ego, and how it stifles us. It can be a good thing, but unchecked, it's a killer.
Literally. Yeah, no, is that kind of Ben Eubank fight on Saturday?
Yeah, it was in the cut.
That was nice. That was a last minute invite. Wasn't expecting that. Big up Uncle hooked us up with the last minute invite there. So atmosphere was crazy.
But that was a moment for Britain.
Atmosphere was crazy.
What was nice as well is Conor Ben's in New York at the moment, and he's getting picked up in the street. Yeah, like everyone in New York's on him. I thought that was kind of. I thought it was an England thing, but yeah, the world's watching.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was cold. Yeah,
that was crazy to be there when Eubank Senior went on the screen and you felt that energy.
Yeah, it was electric.
Yeah. So that was a good look still. And a big fight, very big fight. Enjoyed that one.
That was a real good fight, and it weren't just a storyline. It was a storyline and a good fight.
So it's not just 2 pence podcast. It's an added value podcast. So we try and kick some knowledge. So when we talk about ego, from a psychological perspective, ego is your sense of identity. So as a person, as an individual, you have yourself. Yourself is your body, your heartbeat. It just moves. Yourself is who you are, regardless of what you do. Your ego and your sense of self is the story that you create for yourself. So it's basically a character. Everyone creates a character for themselves, their brand. So that's your ego. Your ego is who you are and who you present to the world. So yeah, today we're gonna talk about who you have created for yourself, what character you create for yourself, and how you present it to the world, and how the world interacts with your ego and your character in a good way and a bad way. I don't even want to tell this story. So obviously the other day we went Turkey. So me and the missus went Turkey. So we was on the flat, but we had the under seat luggage. So obviously my missus has got her bag under the seat. So then halfway through the flight, she's got, my bag's wet. So she checked the bag and said, my bag's wet. So she's thinking there's something in the bag. So she checked it all out. She goes, something spilled on the bag. So we worked out the seat in front. There were some bears. So the bears have spilled onto the bag. Sure. So I've gone to say to the man, there's a family in front, it's a man, woman, and child, whatever. So I've gone to say to the man, listen, be mindful that your thing is spilled, whatever. Obviously, so I've tapped the man a couple of times, he's not even clocked it. So my missus has knocked me to tell me about how soft. It was another conversation, but anyway, she come back to that story to tell me how soft I am because I'm tapping a man. Man's not even my missus saying I'm tickling the man. He said I'm tickling the man. She said I'm tickling it and it just feels nice to him. You get me? Obviously, where we're from, you're supposed to shake a man. You get me? And tell a man rough. But they tell him, listen, I'm not in that space no more. Like growing up, you had to talk rough. You had to everything as protection. I don't live that lifestyle no more. I'm a soft man. So whether it's a big man or an old woman, you're gonna get the same little soft tap tickling from me.
No, but you know what though? Your missus wanted to see. She wanted a show of my man can protect me.
Well, she was stopping me from doing it in the first place. I don't know if I'm gonna do it properly. If I'm gonna do it properly.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, no half stepping.
Yeah. So, but big up the half stepper anyway. But yeah, I'm a half stepper. Listen, I've had grannies bag me up.
No, that's different. That's just respect. That's not ego. But I can tell you a story where I'm going crazy. this is years ago. We've gone, me and my missus, we've gone Barbados. And we've gone on the Jolly Roger. So it's an excursion. A Jolly Roger is a ship. People might know about it. It's popular. And then you go to swim with the turtles, music and do all that kind of stuff. So when it's time now to go and swim with the turtles, I got a life jacket on. Because I've learned to swim as an adult. I know how to swim now, but I weren't the most confident swimmer them times there. So I've got the life jacket on, and we're out and we're swimming with the turtles. It is sick. Like, obviously, it's a moment, a lifetime thing, because in the sea, swimming with turtles is beautiful. It is dope. Anyway, we've done that, and it's time to go back to the boat. So, the people that are leading us or whatever, the people, they say, yeah, everybody, let's go back to the boat. So I'm like, cool. So all making our way back to the boat, but the water's started to get a bit choppy now. So I'm like, calm anyway. So all the kids like, this is fun. We're all, enjoying. But the water's kind of going over my head like a couple times, you get me, to let me know, say, listen, it's getting, but I wasn't calling out for help. Because if I can see kids doing their thing, I'm not calling out for help. So in my head, I've just decided I'm either going to swim or I'm going to die. So I'm just there, just doing my thing. The water's coming, getting me. I'm trying to take breaths when I can, but the thing's going over my head. And then luckily, one of the organisers has seen me. He just swam over to me, grabbed me, and gave me a little catapult towards the boat. But that was my ego. That was the ego saying, bro, be ready to die. Because we ain't calling out for help, you get me?
Right, yeah. Now, ego, as I said, ego can kill literally. That's when ego taking it to the extreme. What's going on in your head to make you feel and that it's okay to take your ego to that extreme?
But I'm a man's man, isn't it? So if a kid can survive it, I can survive it. Which is really, it's silly. You know what I mean? That's toxic masculinity or whatever you want to call it. It was silly. All I could have said, I beg somebody to give me a help or something. You know what I mean? So yeah, that was silly.
Yeah, now I'm not going to think on that extreme, but for me, I think my ego comes into it on that level in terms of asking for help. So I've been in many positions at work or whatever, and I don't know how to do something. And before I just ask someone quickly, can you just show me how to do whatever? I've spent a clean hour trying to work something out rather than just to help someone. And I think for me, my part of that ego is I want to present as intelligent. And I feel like in those situations, and I think as well, as a young black person in the office, and more time, if I'm a young black person, I'm the only one. And I think part of me is scared in terms of the ego to be like, no, I don't know what I'm doing. And I think my whole aura, my whole ego is built on trying to show people at all times I know what I'm doing.
You're not on your own with that, because it's not even just about asking for help. Sometimes you might need investment in certain areas, and that's where we're lacking. We're like to say, I don't want to ask anybody for money, or I could do it on my own. Everybody's got this Lone Ranger, John Wayne sort of thing going on, when really you're only going so far. What's that saying? If you want to go fast, go along.
If you want to go far,
go as a team. So, yeah, I think that's a lot of us.
I can relate to that, because for me, for a long time, as I said, I don't like to ask for help for anything. So as a youth man, you could get away with it, because as you said, if you want to go fast, go by yourself. And a lot of things I was doing, and I could get on with it fast, do it by myself, and learn as well, because I'm not asking for help, and I've got to learn how to do it. So for me, I gained a lot in my youth. As I got older and I moved on to bigger stuff, buy properties or whatever it is, trying to get bigger jobs, you can't, at a certain point, when you're trying to trying to go far, you can't do it alone. And you have to learn to adapt, and you have to learn to break your ego and be in environments where you don't know what's going on, and ask and let people know that you don't know.
Yeah, because your ego can keep you small, Strength is asking for help or information. That's real strength. That's real growth. There's another word that we don't like is vulnerability. Because if you show a little humility and say, listen, I don't really know how to do this, can you help me? that's the growth. Because after you get that information, you're better. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah. But that's, I don't even like saying that word. Vulnerability, you know, it's rough. Added Value Podcast. Yeah, if you haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend. You know, we're small, but we're growing, you know, and the only way we can grow is with your support. Yeah. So, yeah, big up.
Yeah, so obviously, talked about your time on Barbados and the swimming thing. So obviously, that is your ego and not wanting to show fear and all that stuff there. So as I said, in terms of your ego is the character that you've created. So obviously, you've created Strong J. Like, why did you create that character? Why do you think you created that character? And like, where did it come? Yeah, where did it come from?
From young, you know, growing up, what is your depiction of a man? You know, that's somebody that is smart, strong, intelligent, a protector, a leader. And we can't be all of those things, but the main thing that I held on to was Strong J. And yeah, if I'm not strong, what am I? That's how I saw it anyway. And obviously I'm a big man now, so I know I'm a lot more things than just strong. But then, if I weren't strong, I don't know what I was. Do you know what I mean? So if these kids are embarrassing me, it's a joke.
Now, thinking about that for myself, I think, and just looking at my past, I think my biggest character that I've created for myself and try and present as like my brand is pretty much being a know-it-all. In terms of, not on everything, I'm never trying to act like I know things that I don't know about, but I'm a know-it-all on what I know, basically. So whether it's me, whether it's whatever I'm doing, I don't like to ask for help. I don't like to ask for other people's opinion. I'm a full-on know-it-all when it comes to myself. I don't even know what the source of that is in terms of why I chose to be a know-it-all. I know there's certain environments where it's felt right to be, as I said, I touched on the work environment, and I think that's a vulnerable position as a young black boy surrounded by older white people predominantly, and I think they don't know people like me, and I think I'm presenting an image on behalf of black people, and I think I've seen strength in presenting someone that knows what they're doing, and that vulnerability of someone seeing a black boy in that position and going, he don't know what he's doing. So I think in those positions, but in a broader sense, I don't know. Like amongst family, like I've been told countless times that I'm a know-it-all.
I can tell you why.
Go on.
Because we're two fools. Get me? I feel like I'm the strongest person in the world, and you feel like you're the smartest person in the world. I mean, really, I can always be stronger, and you could always be smarter.
Nah, 100%.
Because obviously, I know you're the mortgage man, but I remember it was me that had to kick the game to you about going on a tracker with the mortgages.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Big up that.
Yeah, so
I've been interest rates going down next month, so next week. So yeah. Big up Jay for that one.
Yeah, so imagine you was like, why would I learn from Jason? And I'm the man that knows X, Y, and Z. And you have kicked so much game to me about it. But I feel like it was good that you was ready to learn or listen or just, do you know what I mean, reason about the situation.
Do you know what? I think the where that's struck up the most is in my relationships with women, in terms of proper relationships, because I feel like in most relationships I've had the position of quote unquote leading the relationship or being the leader of that relationship. And I think for me, I've defended it hard. So I've hated any time I've been wrong or proven wrong. And yeah, I think a lot of women, not a lot, I've not been with a lot of women, but a few women that I've been with have said that, and it's not nice to say, but you got to shame the devil, that they've said I've made them feel dumb. And obviously that's my ego, obviously trying to dominate them and show like I'm smarter than you and belittling them in whatever way it is, whether it's big or small, to make them feel small, to sort of strengthen my position as the smart one in this relationship or the leader, whatever that is.
Yeah, but as I was saying, toxic ego comes and shows itself in many forms. Because I was talking to you about the crab in a barrel mindset that certain people have. I see it a lot in the music industry. Sometimes a lot of it is from the outside looking in, but I feel like if you see something and you rate it and you big it up, that doesn't make you smaller. But I see the reverse. I see people seeing stuff and they be like, yeah, and pretend like they never saw it, because if they shine a light on someone else, then it's making their thing smaller. And yeah, that's not it. You know, we have to have an abundance mindset. You know, even this podcast, if we was to shout out another one, it doesn't make our thing smaller or the reverse. Do you know what I mean? Because my shows, I can tell you my shows. I like Diary of a CEO, that's big. Winners Talking Podcast. When that first came out, I never missed an episode. So that came out strong. And it even inspired me. I was like, no, this is cold. I like Chisel's thing. Yeah. And Gabriel on there, he's big. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah.
Yeah, no, I think in terms of that, is the crabs in the barrel, and then when you relate it to ego, I think it is, I think, as you said, I think it is just that in terms of the, what do you say, in terms of there being enough, the abundance mindset. And I think that applies to ego as well. So I think as much as you can have a large ego, so you can have all the confidence, but I think the problem is it's not about how much confidence you have about yourself. I think it's about what you do with it and your perception on other people. So if you think, you can think you're an amazing person, but if you think you're an amazing person because other people are less amazing, that's a problem. But if you feel you're amazing and you're amazing and you're amazing and you're amazing, then it's not a problem. As the Bible says, pride comes before destruction and haughty spirit comes before the fall. And that basically is just saying too much pride and too much ego is when you feel superior to somebody. And I think that's where the problem comes. So it's not a case of, you can think you're amazing, but if you think this one and that one's amazing, everyone else is amazing, then you're not feeling superior. You can still feel amazing. You still feel that I'm the best at this and whatever, but I'm not superior to nobody. The Bible says that's not a problem, I believe. But the problem becomes when your ego comes heightened to the point where you feel superior, and you're dimming other people.
Well, you should have sent that scripture to Shannon Sharp.
100%. I feel like
talk about it.
100%. I feel like if you deep it, if you don't know all the ins and outs of the stories, but that's somebody on a biblical level. That's somebody that clearly feels that they're superior to whoever it is, whether it's that one woman or one girl, to Rascler, or many people. He clearly feels superior, and the Bible says that will bring you down.
Yeah. What did Denzel say? When you're at your peak, that's when the devil comes to test you. I think that Shannon Sharp was on one though, at his big 50-year-old age, trying to go for these little kids.
Well, we're talking about ego and obviously character. And we always think about characters like in terms of films, but also in terms of whether it's podcasters and celebrities, like creating characters. We all create characters, but clearly we can now see Shannon. You can see that was definitely a character. Because certain things he said clearly ain't matching up with reality.
Well, I was sitting and I was just thinking that it's not even just him. You know, Kanye West, Diddy, all of these people. I think it's a message. God's coming and saying, listen, stop idolizing these people. You know what I mean? There's only one person that you're supposed to idolize, and that's him. That's God. You know what I mean? And it's not good that these celebrities are going through these things, but I feel like we need the reminder.
Yeah, no, I think idol worship is at an all-time high right now. And I think, I think that's 100, definitely.
Yeah, because even like, because I was looking it up, and you can look to people for the message, you know, but at the same time, you got to have discernment. That was the word. You got to have discernment to know what parts of the information that you're taking in and actually, you know what I mean, receiving.
Well, talking about discernment, obviously we talked about ego in terms of how it can be damaging. But how would you say in terms of how ego can be positive?
Ego's been positive for me a lot. Approaching gal. Yeah, bro, if you haven't got that, you get me? I'm him character. These women ain't going for it. In the workplace, you know, I work in construction. The person that puffs out their chest the most, that's the person that's running things, regardless if they know what they're doing or not. if the loudest person normally is in charge and setting the plan and setting the tone. So there. Ego. Even certain times when when you're making deals, or maybe even like when you're going in and putting an offer in on a mortgage. Coming from where you're coming from, Jay, what do you know about saying, yeah, I'm gonna put 400 down on this house? Yeah, me. Yeah, you're talking to the broker. Yeah, 400,000. I'm gonna move this around, move that. What? Yeah. Bro, it can only be ego.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So, this isn't to say, don't have an ego, but you gotta check it in sometimes. You gotta check in. Am I using it to help or hinder myself? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? What about you?
Yeah, I think definitely in terms of, as you said, ego is obviously closely related to confidence, and confidence is massive. But then when you start talking about confidence, you start talking about in terms of the faking it, in terms of your ego, in terms of can you fake it to make it. So confidence, you got confidence where it's real, it's from within, and then you got confidence where you just designed it, you just made it up. Do you think you can fake it to make it?
I think you definitely can fake it to make it. But let me tell you what transition I feel like I've made that's actually helped me. My confidence comes more from within. Mm. So I look inwards. Mm. Jason, who are you? I am strong. I am kind. I have morals. I try to help people. These are the confidences that I walk with. And I'm a man of faith, so that's my confidence. It used to be, I've got these certain trainers, I wear these certain things, I talk a certain way. The people that I surround myself with, that used to maybe where I used to get my ego or confidence from. And as soon as those trainers get mashed up and I can't afford another pair, my ego is coming down. Or I have an argument with one of my friends or X, Y, or Z, or I lose the girl that I was talking to, she ain't rapping with me no more. Now that's when it used to be up and down. But now I look inwards and I'm actually thinking, I'm Jason, I'm that guy because, like I said, I'm a man of faith, I'm a man of morals, and I have good relationships because I treat people good and they treat me good. That I feel like has helped build me up. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, it wouldn't be Added Value Podcast if I don't mention my 7 Habits book by Stephen R. Covey. But what you've just said is touched on in the book. And that's basically, it says, everything you do, you've got to start from inside out.
100%.
And I think the faking it to make it, again, you can look at that in terms of, a lot of times when you fake it to make it, it's focused on the outside and then going in. So you're faking it, you're pretending you're this person, you're this character, you're presenting yourself, whether you're faking it and pretending that you've got money and putting designer clothes on to create this image that you've got money, that's working on the outside. But the problem is, if you haven't got the inside work done, then it's not really going to work. So even if you present that you've got money, so sometimes you can present that you've got money and you present yourself and you come around people with money, and could you look like you have money, that accesses you to people with money. But if you haven't done the work, you don't know what to do with money. Even if you used to get the money, it's going to go. So a fool with his money is still a fool.
Yeah.
So the value is definitely inside out. And given on the same topic, I think I'll give you the example of that. A friend of mine, he does promotions, and he's got to the point where he done promotions on big events. He was doing an event in O2, Indigo, main O2 Arena. He put on an event, artist there, but he had to obviously get investment. So it's big money. It costs 180 grand to hire O2. And then that's just the arena. There's pure costs. There's flying people over, travel expenses. So obviously he had to get investment from people. So I don't know if he did, but potentially from what I've seen, it was a potential that he might have faked it to make it look like he's got money because he's trying to get money in. So you're speaking to this one, you're speaking to that one with money. So he probably had to present himself like he's got money, put on a certain watch, drive certain cars to look like he's got money, to attract more money. So he might have been faking it to look like he's got more money, but the reality is, even though he's faking that part, He's already done the inside work. He's been promoting raves and shows and everything for years. So the inside work's done. He's got the confidence. He knows how to do promotions. He believes he can. This is just him leveling up. He's done the work. He's got the character. He's got the experience. So he's faked it to attract money. But when that money comes, that inside work's already done. The character, everything he needs to get the job done is there. So I think, yeah, you can fake it till you make it, but you have to do the inside work first.
Yeah. Well, I definitely believe in that saying, money goes to money. You know? If I come to you as a desperate man, hey, your money's not safe with me. Because what did I do with the money that I had before that? Do you know what I mean?
Nah, definitely. Because as I said, I know people that, you know, could probably do with some money, and they're probably the people that I would lend to last. Not the people that I would give money to last. I'd give it and not expect it back.
Yeah.
But they're the people I would lend to last. It's the people that need it the most. Because as you said, there's a reason why you need it the most. So, yeah.
Well, again, ego, it has to be balanced because I've had a couple conversations with you about support and why some people get support and others don't get support. And what I've really come to is the people that do get support are the people that are seen. So you can see their work, you can see the journey, you can see that they've tried, you can see that they keep trying, and even though they're failing, they're still trying. Those are the people that get support. People that sit and wait and do nothing and look for support and then can't understand why they don't get support. Do you understand? You can see why it works for certain people and it don't work for others. Do you know what I mean? And even this podcast, what I want to do is I want to build something and have something tangible. So when I'm asking for help and asking for support, the train has already started. I'm asking you to get on it. I'm not asking you to push and start the train with me. That's hard work. And yeah, maybe it goes back to like you're saying with the ego. It's kind of embarrassing where have I exhausted all avenues before I even come to this person to ask them for something? Do you know what I mean? And if you haven't, why haven't you? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Again, Added Value Podcast. Like, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. Yo, we can't do this without you. We need the love. We need the support. You know what I mean? Let's get it.
This has been Added Value Podcast. So obviously we touched on ego today. So yeah, as I said, you have yourself, which is your body, your vessel that God has blessed you with. Your heart beats without you. It moves, it breathes. But you've created a character for yourself, which is your self of identity, who you are. And that's your ego, and that's what you've created. So yeah, we just touched on that in terms of, on the show, in terms of the dangers of the characters that we create, whether it's being strong and not wanting to look vulnerable and the consequences that can happen with that. Touched on myself in terms of my character and trying to be a know-it-all sometimes and the dangers of that and the impacts on other people. And then, yeah, we just touched on ego and the positive sides as well in terms of confidence and what confidence can do to you. And yeah, and I think for me, one of the big takeaways for me is just in terms of, as I said, and Jay said, whether it's confidence, whether it's ego, it's got to come from inside first and make it real. So if it's your character and your identity, your confidence, like make it come from inside and make it real. Do the work first and bring it out. So yeah, if you're presenting yourself as an honest person, as a trustworthy person, do the work inside first, be an honest, trustworthy person, genuinely, and then present that out to the world. Yeah.
Yeah, and I want to put a big reminder about, let's get rid of this crab in a barrel mentality, you know? Let's think about abundance. Let's think how there's enough for all of us. The gatekeeping thing's done, you know? You can go straight to audience now. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Big up.
Added value.
Every time. Added value. Peace out.